blessed today to have with us Reverend Gutluk Tel, and Gutluk is a missionary to America. Gutluk, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? How did you come to be a Christian?
That's good. Yeah, personally, I grew up in Africa. Mostly, I grew up in refugee camp, I could say. I know when back so many years ago, Sudan being involved with the Muslim and Christian. I wasn't even born at that time, but my parents moved to Ethiopia, border with Sudan, and then from there, I went to refugee camp there. Then I born between the border of Ethiopia and Sudan. Before it was Sudan, but now it's South Sudan. Recently, I think it's about like 7 years or whatever. Yeah, I think it's 7 years. So in that area, that's where I grew up. When I went to that refugees camp, so close to that place, there was a church there. Before then, there was a missionary who was sent to Sudan. I think was back in 1946 when the missionary started there in South Sudan. At that time, it was Sudan, but they were mainly in South. So those Christians went to the South Sudan, and then when I came to refugees camp with my parents back then I get to go to church there, then try to learn a little bit about the baptism, what it means for the people to be baptized, and what it is. Then from there I get baptized before I came to the United States.
How old were you?
Well,
how old were you?
I think I was 12 years old at that time when I started to go to church there. Then I was 12. Before.
How old were you when you went into the refugee camp?
I was young. I could say when it was. Then when my parents moved there, they moved there before I was even born anyway. Then I was like, then I born there. By the time I went to refugees, I was very young, but the same age, I think it was 9, 10 maybe. But I was with my parents at that time. Then when I was 12 years old, then I was baptized in that year.
How old?
I was young when I went to refugee school.
How old were you?
I was about 10.
10 years old.
I was about 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 10, yeah. When I was refugees, yes.
How long were you in the refugee camp?
When I've been I spent 10 year refugees. Then I've been 2 years. Those 10 years, I spent them in Ethiopia. And then I moved to Kenya. Then I spent 2 years in Kenya before I came to the United States.
So you were a refugee in Ethiopia and Kenya for about 10 years. And that would be from the time you were born, almost, right?
Oh, yeah, almost the time I was born, yes, for sure. Almost.
You were a refugee from the time you were born,
yeah,
and then entered refugee camp in Kenya after 10 years, and then came to the United States.
Yeah, I came to the United States, yes.
But you were baptized in the refugee camp.
Yes, I baptized there in refugee camp, yes. It was village, yeah, I was baptized there in refugee camp, yes. Those are the people who went to South Sudan before. They went to refugees camp and they established all the churches down there. And then people get chance to be baptized and get chance to teach about the gospel. And then from there, we were separate when I left Ethiopia, they were back in Ethiopia, and then I left to Kenya. I went to Kenya by myself.
How old were you when you went to Kenya?
I think I was about 17.
17 years old, you went to Kenya.
Yeah. And then I spent 2 years there. I went to that church. That church was led by one of the Kenyan pastor. Yeah, we have a 9 o'clock service every Sunday there in that church before I came to the United States here. That church was up, they sent out the form to the refugees camp that they're looking for people who can go to the United States. When they know you there by yourself and they know you are a kid, they give you that opportunity that you can have this so you can have a better life. So they have that a part of it and give it to us. Then we fill those out, and then they call our name that, okay, you are ready to be interviewed. So when I left from the camp where there was no people who can be let go without permission. Then I left there. Then I went to the border. When I crossed the border, I crossed it on foot. No car, no nothing. You can walk. I don't know how many. If you walk from Ethiopia to Kenya, I don't know how many kilometers would be calculated there. And we do that day and night without enough water, without enough food, but we survive. To get there, to cross the border, if you're lucky, you can be, it is 5 days total, but in those 5 days, you can walk, but it doesn't mean you can get into the border, but you can, if you're lucky, you can have people who can give you rides somewhere when they know you're a kid. Then there are people who are very generous too. They give us some rides to where we want to go. So that's how we get there. It is a long journey. I see that. And
so it took you 5 days?
Oh yeah, 5 good night days. Yeah,
to walk from the refugee camp area in Ethiopia to Kenya.
No, from refugees camp, you can have a car, you can buy a ticket to get you to the city. But getting ticket to get you to the city is another nightmare too. It is so hard to have it. When you're not lucky, you're not going to have it. For the security reason, you can have a document to cross or to board a ticket that you can be going this way, that you can have a proper document to do it. Without those, you're not lucky to cross the border.
But and you didn't have the document.
I don't have any document, but I couldn't know. I didn't know why I crossed it that way, but it went that way.
God opened the door.
So I was keeping praying. Yeah, the God opened the door for me. I think that's.
You landed in New York, and what happened then?
I've landed in New York, and then when I landed in New York, I was waiting by one of the IOM personnel, waiting for me to be boarding a connection flight to Minnesota. Then from there, what I noticed was the weather was okay because I came here in August. It is still warm, and I left one place there. But when I came to New York, I was surprised that I see a lot of people at the airport. I never see a lot of people like that. I know there was a lot of people on the street in Kenya, but I didn't expect that there may be a lot of people in the airport like this. I was like, okay, what it is? Where am I going? It's very surprised. It's very surprised.
So you got to Minneapolis.
Yeah, I got to Minneapolis.
And who met you there? Who met you in Minneapolis, and how did you?
I met with one of my sponsors. Her name is Linda Lermans is from Shea Walsef. Is one of the workers there. He met me there in the airport in Minneapolis International Airport, and took me to my place. Took me to my place.
What was your place? What was your place?
I went to Belen. That was my first residence in America. I went to Belen. It's in Anoka County here in Minneapolis. North of Minneapolis, I believe, north of Minneapolis. Then I went there.
Do you have an apartment? Did you live with somebody
that was an
else?
apartment, yes.
But
I
you
live
were
with
all
somebody,
by,
yes.
were you all by yourself? Was somebody with you?
No, some people already came before me. They were in that place. And then she took me there from the airport and took me with them. In that
So
area.
you were living in a house with other people.
Living in apartments. We are living in 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, me and other guys. Four bedroom apartment. So we are 4 people, yes. Bachelor.
There were
that
4
time we don't
people in the.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did you get involved at the church in Minneapolis?
Well, when I came, I first went to the church. I think it was a Catholic church at that time was my sponsor the day I came. So we went to that church. I think I still have that newspaper, I think. I don't know where I put it. I think I have it in my office now. I have that newspaper in my office. So I went to that church, and she introducing us that, okay, these are refugees who just came from the United States, and they want to learn about the life in this country. And then that was the first church I went into in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, I got chance, and I went to high school down there in Freely. Then I've been in that school for 4 years, and then I graduated from high school there. And then
How old were you when you graduated from high school?
No, I think I graduated when I was 21, because when I came here, I was young, but my age was increased that because I shouldn't be let go by myself if my age, if I'm underage. Okay. When I came here, they know that I came here as 20 years, but it was increased a little bit for 2 years, so that if I wasn't to add some year on my age, so it would not be good for me to be troubled by myself. And then when I go to Freely High School, they know, okay, yeah, we see that refugees, they have a problem on this one. When you travel alone with no parent, so it's good that you have your age this side, but so we can take you to school. Then they took me to school, and then I started from 10th grade, and then 11 and 12, then I done.
Mm-hmm.
So
and what happened next?
That's how I get in. What happened there was this. I went to some college. I didn't graduate from college. I went to college here. I went to Anoka Ramsey College, and I went to St. Thomas University here to get some English. Then I get connected with the church that I am now. I get connected with Trinity Church down here in Fairville. That church sent me to St. Thomas University to develop my English language. Then I took some course there. And then I roll up in EIIT program in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wow, what a trip! It's taken you then several years to get through the EIIT program.
Yeah.
And and where are you a pastor now?
I'm pastor at Trinity for the Sudanese congregation. I am located for 3 regions down here in southern Minnesota. That's where I'm working now.
So who is the pastor of Trinity?
Is senior pastor Pastor Rieger.
Pastor Rieger.
Yeah, Pastor Rieger. Associate pastor is Pastor Tyler.
Did you start as a deacon, helping out at the church?
Yes.
What were the first things that you did when you started working with the church?
When I started working with the church here, I was helping a lot with the Sudanese translator. I used to translate English into Noor when we have our own service with some Sudanese here. That was my first call that I was doing from back in '99. And then from there, in 2002, 2004, I get a mission. I get my permission trip back to Sudan, back to Ethiopia for sure, with Pastor Schneider, who was the pastor here in this church before. Then him and I went to Ethiopia for mission trip back in 2002, and we went back again in 2004 and 2013. So I was involved as the deacons, and then I get a chance to go to school, to go to Concordia to complete my program. Then from there I get ordained. When I became a pastor, then I was ordained. I was called to be a pastor for Sudanese ministry here in southern Minnesota. That's the job that I'm doing now.
How do you experience the difference between the church in Ethiopia and Sudan and Kenya and America?
Well, a lot of gaps as far as I see it. When I say a lot of gap with this, those area when I was in Ethiopia in the church, so it is more with full young people in the church. I see a lot from where I came. I see a lot more young kids come to the church with their parent or without parent. I see that a lot, that they go to church. Whenever they know it's Sunday, you can see people have a different attitude, that they know, okay, this is Sunday, we have to do this, we have to do this. They go to church. All young kids, or even the whole people too. But I see most churches, they full with a lot of young kids there when I was in Ethiopia. The same thing when I went to Kenya too. I saw that the same church packed with the young people a lot. But when compared to what I see here in America, young people go to church, but not as many as I see back home there.
Why do you think that is?
Well, for me now, I have kids here in America, right? So I see I think this is the culture. To me, I think it's a culture thing that I see a lot of kids, they come to the church sometimes, but I think it's a culture thing that when you see a parent too, they have a kid, but sometimes their kid don't come to the church. It seems like, because in America, I think I could say that is you who want to do this, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I think that's what it is. So yeah, I think.
So you're married and you have 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
5 children, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And are they involved in church work at this point in the church?
Yeah, they are in, some are in Sunday school, some are in catechism class, so they are involved very much in the church. Yeah,
Mhm.
they are very much involved. Yeah.
And but you don't see that in the. Do you see that generally in your church? Is that a difference between the Anglo church and the Sudanese church or the Ethiopian church?
You know, in Angle Church here, some kid do come to church, but I think, you know, I mostly see a lot of adult people, not a lot of kids. That's what I experience here. Even the church I am in, I see a lot of adult, instead see a lot of kids here. So I did experience that now. So I know some parents bring their kid in too.
What's been your biggest challenge in doing mission work in America?
Well, yeah, you know, the bigger thing is here, but I see the culture here. For me, I do the mission work for the Sudanese, but not only Sudanese alone, for the American too. But I see that, you know, the language barrier is another problem too. And what I'm doing here, I'm doing this as a part-time pastor, but I work outside job. I work in the factory full-time. But
What is it?
I
What do you
work I
do
work
full time?
I work in the factory full-time.
A factory.
Yeah. And when I get
What
Sunday and
factory?
Saturday, yeah, huh? What
Which
factory?
factory do you?
I work at
Which
the
factory do you?
I work at I work at the cable connection down here in
Cable
Fresno.
connection.
Yeah, cable connection. So, and I do that
Mhm.
full time. When I come back on Saturday and Sunday to do some reading for my sermon and all those, so that's more challenging on me. I could say that it's more challenging that. So working full time here and do this on Saturday and Sunday, I have no enough time to engage with all the people that I need to help with the Word of God. That's been a very challenge for me here to do.
Where
To
has
be
your
to do
biggest
this.
help come from?
What's that?
Where has your biggest Where has your biggest help come from?
Yes, it is good. The church that I am, they were together with me in this mission. They they do give some support on me and the district that I am too. So these are the that's are the some of my passion works. Some of my passion help coming from there.
Okay. What would your vision be for the mission in America? 10 years from now, what would you like to see the mission look like where you are?
You know, it is a good question. Mission is to get the word out, get it out there to serve people. That's what it is. It is a big call to have this mission around America. For sure, the mission in from 10 years from now. So I think we all need to go. I could say myself. I think we all need to go out there and tell people come to the church. Bring the young kid
Mm-hmm.
so they can know. Then if we do that now, 10 years later on, all people should be in the church. Not the young, not the old. They should be in the church.
The church in America is experiencing some great challenges, And God saw that, and out of his mercy, he sent you and others like you to the United States.
Yeah.
People who have sacrificed tremendously, walked days and experienced danger along the way in order to come to this country. But I'd like you to know you did not choose to come here. It was the Lord who brought you here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I pray God's richest blessing on your ministry and on your family while God continues to use you to go out and bring more people to know Jesus as their Lord.